This is Pam, and well, I'm going to be sitting on the couch just right away, just to start with this video, and then I'm going to talk about a topic that is really interesting. But before starting, like I always say, I'm really excited to share this information with you. As usual, I make this with all of my love, and I know that most of the time this information is already up there, but it makes me feel really glad that I'm part of the people who's trying to, create awareness and make people just to develop better relationships, especially, healthy relationships, that's what we need the most, especially as an adult, that we tend to forget that everything is possible, and I need to just talk about this because when we are children, we believe more in ourselves than most of the time. And when we become adult, we become more pessimist. And that's something we need just to reprogram in our mind, because everything is possible as long as you can and you work for it. And mental health is part of that. And I think that maybe in the past we made wrong choices, but maybe because of our childhood relationships, or I don't know, many other things. But as long as you're very aware of it, then you're going to have different relationships, and that's the part that make me feel really happy and positive about life in general. So well, I would like to talk about a little bit of what happens when you set or you have high standards. With that, I mean that doesn't mean that you're going to create false expectations about men in general, because you have to know how they actually function, okay? And with that is that you need to be very realistic about them, and it is a topic that maybe I can talk later. But you have to be very realistic about them. You need to be very objective about your decisions in the time you're choosing someone. But for that, you need to realize that when you're having high standards, there are some side effects on it. And what can I say about that? The side effect of that, and I think it's the one that many people want to avoid, is the part of being by yourself for a really long time. And that's the part nobody likes, because I know it's really fun when you feel, some kind of, how can I say this word? Like attention, male attention, or even female attention, and you feel validated for it. And you feel like, okay, I'm worth it, because someone is saying that I'm beautiful, someone's saying that I'm interesting, and all this stuff. But you have to start learning how to live with yourself without needing this type of validation. And that's the part that you need to take the time to actually evaluate inside of yourself what has made you just pick the wrong choices. And what happens is that when you have low self-esteem and when you have low standards, you start dating guys that you already know that are bad for you. That's the one that we call toxic. And anyways, you just ignore the red flags, and then you continue dating with this type of man. And then you just wonder, why is it that I have a bad luck in love in general? It's not that you have bad luck, it's just that you can't stand the fact that maybe you need to spend some time alone and realizing what are the things that you need to change of yourself in order for you just to have better relationships in general. And that's something that can be applied not only when it comes to love relationships, but when it comes to family, when it comes to friendship, everything. So the first thing we need to change or always look is into ourselves. It is like very easy to always just project ourselves in others, or seeing that someone is a bad person, label someone like he's not funny, he's not friendly, and so and so. But then we just forget about the most important part, that is looking up to ourselves. And I guess that it's pretty normal, because I know it's kind of like annoying sometimes, like recognizing like the ugly part of ourselves. I'm sorry for saying like so many times, it's uncomfortable. But the thing is that you need to realize that the most important part of having high standards is just accepting that you need, or you are going to spend a lot of time being by yourself, being single, and there's nothing wrong with it, okay? And you know, being single doesn't mean that you're a loser, doesn't mean that you are not attractive. On the contrary, you have a lot of opportunities just to create new projects, for you just to become a better person, to exercise, meeting new people, but you know, as friendship, and not looking like you're desperate just to have a, you know, relationship, like sending this message that you're thirsty by showing off too much and all the stuff. But that's the side effect, you know, and I recommend you, because I was one of the person who was very afraid of being by myself. I was feeling anxious of even thinking about it, and that's why it kept me so much time into a toxic relationship, into an abusive relationship. So as I didn't realize that it wasn't that bad at the end, I just remained there. So never fall into this trap. Being by yourself is not a negative thing whatsoever. It is something you can take advantage of to improve yourself and just to feed your soul into good things. And that even make you stronger. At the beginning, when I actually ended my relationship, it was a really long relationship that I had. When I ended my relationship, I do remember that there were moments I was having anxiety because no one was texting me. I wasn't having male attention, and I felt like I'm so unattractive. I'm not going to find someone else. And I know that this is like the thought that it puts in your mind, like it makes you feel fear all the time. But at the moment that, you know, the days went by, I realized that I started to feel better with myself, and I started to feel better every time I share with my family, the loved ones, and the more they make me feel like I was worth it. I gave myself the worth that I had, and I'm sorry, I started just to like wondering what can I do, and you know, what can I do to heal, what are the projects that I can create in order for me just to become a better version of me. And that's why, like, I recommend a lot that even though it is scary, just go for it, because it's way better than being in an abusive relationship. I prefer to be single 1,000 times than being with someone who doesn't value me or who doesn't treat me with respect. And you know, you have to always think about it, because at the long run, it's not gonna be positive for your life, and not even for yourself, because you know, abusive relationship can lead a lot of like really deep scars inside of you, and you don't want to experience that for the rest of your life just because you were not brave enough to put yourself first. So I recommend you guys just to be by yourself, and that's the side effect of having high standards, just to be single for the amount of moment you need it, and then you're going to become more aware of to whom you're actually choosing, and you know, the people that it's going to be in your life, it's going to be a reflection of you. So the better you focus on yourself, the better you feel with yourself, then it's a bigger chance that you're going to be attracting people who is also good with themselves, they are very healthy, and then you're going to start developing amazing relationships. Believe in that, and believe that no matter if you have you know, validation from men or women, you're still valuable, you're still beautiful, you're still, you know, special, because you are alive, and that's already a miracle. So, well guys, this was the message that I wanted to share with you, and you know, do not be afraid. That's, I know it's sometimes it is difficult because you stare like, oh my god, I just want this fantasy of love, but you know, always recall what it is that it makes you feel when you are in a toxic relationship, that is so draining when you're expecting someone just to treat you the way you want, but then you're not receiving from that person. So what do you prefer? Just always ask yourself that, and that will give you the strength you need just to be with yourself and keep improving, and I think that's the most rewarding thing. So well guys, see you later. I hope that if you like my videos, you can subscribe and like it, and well, see you the next week.